Hi guys, today we're going to go over the quadratic formula. A lot of you have been struggling with this, especially since we've been learning this online. So I'm going to go over yesterday's classwork just to make sure that we are all up to speed on how to do the quadratic formula. For the first question, it's to find the roots of this quadratic, 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. So quadratic formula, you need to define what your a, your b, and your c are. A is the number in front of x squared. B is the number in front of x, and c is the constant. Take those and plug it into the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, okay? And that will always be provided for you. So I plug in 2, 2, and negative 12 in for a, b, and c, and your equation should look something like this. This is a 2, by the way, I messed up there. All right? Your first step after plugging in everything into the quadratic formula is to solve everything that's under the radical. So this becomes negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4. And then I have 4 times 2 times negative 12. Well, 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 12 is negative 96. I have to look at the sign that's in between, and that's a negative sign. And this is what a lot of you forget. So minus 4 times 2 times negative 12 is negative 96. So the square root of 4 minus negative 96 all over 2 times your a value of 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Simplify this further. Negative 2 plus or minus 4 minus negative 96. Minus a negative turns into a positive. So this becomes 4 plus 96, which is 100. Now we take that square root of 100. Remember, there are 2 square roots of 100. One is positive 10 over 4, and the other one is negative 10 over 4. That's what that plus or minus means. There's a positive square root of 100 and there's a negative square root of 100. Then we solve. Negative 2 plus 10 is 8 divided by 4 is 2. This is all equal to x. And we solve this one. Negative 12 minus 10 is, negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. So my answer, my 2 roots for that problem are 2 and negative 3. That's it. Let's move on to the next. 2x squared minus 3x minus 4. A is the number in front of x squared, that's 2. B is the number in front of x, that's negative 3. Carry that negative with you. And c is the constant, which is negative 4. Carry that negative with you. Plug it into the quadratic formula. It should look like this. The opposite of b, the opposite of negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared, negative 3 squared, minus 4 times a is 2, times c is negative 4, over 2 times your a value, which I actually messed up. This should be 2 times my a value is 2. All right, simplify everything that's under the radical. 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared is, or negative 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 times negative 3. Minus 4 times 2 is 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. Over 2 times my a value, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 times negative 4 is negative 32. There's a minus sign in between. Minus a negative turns into a positive. 9 plus 32 under the radical is 41. So this becomes 3 plus or minus the square root of 41 over 4. And you could leave your answer right like this. There is no square root of 41 that comes out perfectly. It would be a decimal. So you could leave your answer right like this, or you could do 3 plus the square root of 41 over 4 is equal to x, and 3 minus the square root of 41 over 4 is equal to x. Or you could plug this into a calculator. If you plug it into a calculator, you should get 2.35 for this one and negative 0.85 for this one. So any of these three answers are correct. All right, let's move on. 3, x squared minus 2x plus 1. So the number in front of x squared is your a. There's no number in front of x squared, so it's technically a 1. The number in front of x is b is negative 2, and then constant of 1 is your c value. Plug that into the quadratic formula, and then we solve for what's underneath the radical. So negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times 1 is 4 times 1 is 4 over 2 times 1 is just 2. Simplify what's underneath the radical. 4 minus 4 is 0, so this becomes 2 plus or minus the square root of 0 over your a value of 2. The square root of 0 is just 0, so you could leave it as 2 plus 0 over 2 is equal to x, and x is equal to 2 minus 0 over 2. Either way you do it, you're going to get the same answer of x is equal to 1. So that's where we get 1 root. 2 plus 0 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. 2 minus 0 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. Same answer. Or if you write x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1 twice, I'd accept that as well. Last one, a value is negative 3. We plug that in for a here and here. Your b value is the number in front of x, that's 4. Opposite of b here, and another b here. And your c value is your constant, it's negative 17. We plug that in here. All right, now we simplify what is under the radical. So, negative 4 plus or minus 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 3 is 12, times negative 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, times negative 17 is negative 204. Oh, positive 204. Because you have 4 times a negative 3, that's negative 12, times negative 17 is positive 204. And we have to carry down that subtraction sign in between. 2 times my a value, my a is negative 3, that's negative 6. My next step is to simplify what's underneath the radical. So 16 minus a positive 204. Negative 4 plus or minus the square root. 16 minus 204 is negative 188 over 2 times my a value, which is negative 6. I cannot take the square root of a negative number. Because of that, that is very sloppy, but because of that, I have no real roots. There are no two numbers that are exactly the same that'll give you a negative number. A positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. No two numbers that are the same when multiplied together will give you a negative number. Therefore, you can't take the square root of a negative number, and there are no real roots in this situation. I hope this helped you out. I know it was fast, but I have no storage in my phone, so it's a little something to help you guys for today and tomorrow and your quiz on Friday. So make sure you take a look at this video. Talk to you soon. Bye.